Since 1992, there's been huge changes in the way the tax process worked in Florida. This year, as we speak, the legislature is working on changes. The question from the property appraisers world is my value assessed fairly and equitably compared with other people's value? We want to make sure that the taxpayers understand that their property appraiser has a fair and equitable tax roll, and that they have access to the property appraiser's office with any questions that they might have about their value, about the exemption, and about the coming exemptions that might be applied in the future. In the political environment today, it's difficult for the taxpayers to understand how their property appraiser, their constitutional officer, works. And what we'd like to do is better explain how the property appraiser's office functions. I'm elected under the Florida Constitution as your property appraiser, and I'm charged with the responsibility of valuing all properties in Leon County as of January 1st of each year. Homestead exemption under the Florida Constitution, as it sits today, is $25,000 of value. In other words, if you have a home and it's assessed at $100,000, you automatically take $25,000 off of that. The dollar savings of that equates to $500 plus a year to the taxpayer. So it's beneficial for the individual when they purchase their new home to make sure they get their application into the property appraiser's office and file for their homestead. The non-homestead homeowners, in other words, the apartment owners, duplex owners, or those that rent in those units, do not receive any of this type of cap or exemption process. The cap is applied once you buy your home, file for homestead exemption. When the value's set, from that point forward, your value can't go up any more than 3% or the CPI. The Consumer Price Index, and that value has typically remained around 2.5 in Tallahassee and Leon County. So we've been fortunate for those homeowners that have the cap. The disadvantage to this is the new homeowners that buy a home do not have the cap. It's important to understand that the property appraiser's office is available and easy to get to. Very simply, if you have questions about your assessment, call our office. You have two ways of approaching us. First, we want to directly talk to you on the phone, or if it takes a personal visit, we would encourage you to come down to our office. Let us show you what we're looking at, and if there's a problem, we can clear it up. We want to have that opportunity to explain to you how we got it and defend it. If there was some reason that you didn't agree with what we came up with, there's the other option that you go to an independent appraiser or a special master that would then review your case and see the information out there and could override us at that time. But in the past, we've been very, very fortunate to have the ability to communicate, show the information, and we usually resolve these in office. Property is assessed by two ways. One is that every year the new houses, new constructions are picked up by the permitting process that's handled through the county growth management department. That information is relayed to our office. We then go up, measure the houses, and put that information on the tax roll. The existing houses are also placed on the roll annually and are assessed accordingly to the sales of similar like properties. It's a uniform system. It's a mass appraisal approach. In other words, you're taking 100,000 parcels and you're taking, for instance, an average 3-bedroom brick home, and you're comparing it with all other average 3-bedroom brick homes and adding the land to it, and you come up with a value. What we try to do is make sure that we recognize under the first through eighth criteria in the law that we assess according to what the Constitution requires us to do, and that is right off the bat, we don't assess at complete market value. We assess recognizing the cost of the sale and the other factors including in that, which would mean that you would not have an actual 100% assessment. You would end up with an assessment of around 85% of market value. One of the other factors of that is we do not assess using current sales under the Florida law. We have to use prior year sales in determining the value of those properties that I just identified.
I'm a field appraiser in the residential department for the Leon County Property Appraiser's Office. We have to locate, identify, and value all the properties. So part of the Florida statutes, we have to respond to building permits, and that's additions, demolitions, whatever may take place, and we have to go out and physically inspect those. We have 9 appraisers in the residential section, and these appraisers each have their own geographical territory with at least 11,000 parcels a person, and they have to respond and work every permit. We follow up on each and every sale. We like to physically visit those and follow up on the data, anything that may have changed on the house. So here's a particular home right here that is pretty much done, and I have an active permit for that thing, and we have a preliminary visit that we were here at the early stages of construction, and this would be the time I want to go ahead and visit it and finish off all of my measurements. These 3 homes represent a lot of stages of construction. The center one is probably like about 30% done. This is when we take a look, we observe, we have the permit. The next home there represents probably about 70% done. We can get a lot of our interior and additional exterior information off the house. This is key at this phase. The home right in back of me, this one's ready to go on the tax roll. We visited several times, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish measuring and get my last information. We pull every measurement by hand. We have to notice what different areas. We have a main heated and cooled. Everything else is auxiliary areas, your garages, porches. So we have to identify that. So that's why we physically visit each parcel. We lightly sketch it, and then these sketches are actually put into a computer to go ahead and generate the actualized computerized drawing. The wood deck and other areas, they're not included in the drawing. These are called extra features because every home doesn't have a wood deck. So we include that in there. Every month we have new permits coming in. We have sales every week that fall into that territory. So as Tallahassee continues to grow, or Leon County as a whole grows, it's constantly changing and it's constantly growing. So you remove 10 out of it and you get 15 more. That's kind of the nature of it.
It's easy to find out information on our tax roll. Very simply, you go to our website through the Property Appraiser's office, go to the Leon County website and go to our website. Identify the parcel you want by name and or parcel number and or address, and click on it. You can then encompass the sales in the area. Other information would be the exemptions that are applied, and then help you identify not only your tax questions, but questions you might have for the area that you want to live in. But any questions you might have about your house, about your exemption, about your tax bill, make sure you call our office. We'll be glad to answer the questions that are related to the Property Appraiser's office and direct you to any other office pertaining to any tax questions you have from the taxing authorities.